kind of had to go through this process also. Hello again.
Hi, sorry, we had a small video glitch, but we're back. Other ways you can get involved would be to join an honor society or participate in Cal Greek's recruitment. Another really popular activity on campus are intramural sports. So we do have a lot of really great NC2A sports, but not everybody is blessed athletically to play, football here or to swim with Missy Franklin. But for those of us who aren't blessed in that way, you could still participate in sports. So get involved with intramural sports on campus. Another interesting thing that folks don't realize, the benefits of being at a Research One university is the ability to do research even if you're in a non-research based major or academic course of study.
Yeah, and this actually might touch on the question that Enzo just followed up with, which is talking about, his question was that he's a little bit worried that he is more of like a hands-on type of learner, and he was worried that maybe at a theory-oriented university like Cal, there's not these opportunities to kind of get involved, but it should not concern you. Like Marissa just said, there's definitely a bunch of different research opportunities that you can have with different departments. It's not just research within like the bio and chem labs. Like I have a friend who's doing it with the sociology department and doing research with a professor right now. So there's definitely that space for doing these different types of research apprenticeship programs.
Yeah, the undergraduate research apprenticeship program, you can, I believe, check it out at research.berkeley.edu.
Specifically, there's one called URAP,
yes, that's what it is.
Which is that one, yes. So you guys can definitely check that out, and there's definitely that space to start learning more about research and kind of getting that hands-on experience that you were looking at. Also, like, just to talk a little bit more with Enzo, like, I am also kind of a pretty hands-on person, and I think that that issue can also be addressed within your smaller section groups also with your GSI. Because definitely if you talk to them about it, a lot of them are really flexible with kind of helping you kind of really tailor, like, your education to the way that you want it to be.
So we have a lot of other, there are a lot of centers on campus that we want to encourage you to check out. So not just the LEAD Center, but a lot of ways to get involved on campus that aren't necessarily just with student organizations or just with the fraternity and sorority community. So yes, go to the Career Center, check that out. But we also have a lot of sister departments, one of which is called the Gender Equity Resource Center. So if you're interested in gender issues, sexuality issues, then we want you to check out what is affectionately known as Gen Ec. And Amber has a couple more brochures here that we can show you. And what's great about this community is that they are pretty progressive in terms of the issues that they're researching. The Queer at Berkeley piece here also talks about a number of different student organizations on campus that are queer campus organizations. So we support the student organizations not just through the LEAD Center, but through our other departments on campus. And so you can get involved through them. And so what we're doing right now with the Sexual Assault Awareness Month, which is also why I'm wearing this ribbon here, is in partnership with the Gender Equity Resource Center. And today is Denim Day, so if you want to look that up and learn a little bit more about what Denim Day is all about, we are honoring that today. Another fun aspect of getting involved on campus is what we like to...
And Sarah, this gets at your question specifically around getting involved with music ensemble.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit more about it. Perfect. Segue.
Great question.
Planted you.
Perfect. Perfect timing on your question.
So we have, folks think of Berkeley, and I think their automatic assumption or stereotype of Berkeley is that, we're a bunch of nerds. And we are. And we would proudly wear that. Yeah. But in addition to that, we have a lot of folks who love to perform, who love to sing, dance, act, do spoken word, you name it, we have it on this campus. So part of the experience I feel like on this campus is also auditioning. Really trying something out and maybe not getting it, and that's okay. I think when I was a student here, I'm a Cal alum. When I was a student here, I tried out for something and I made a glorious fool of myself trying, and I didn't make the team, but I had a lot of fun trying, and I think that's a really important aspect of the student organization, student community experience here. So we have a cappella groups, we have
bunch of dance groups, a bunch
A
of
lot
dance
of
groups.
dance organizations.
Mhm.
If you're interested in some of the musical groups, you want to check out the Department of Student Musical Activities.
Mhm.
They work with groups like the Golden Overtones, Cal Men's Octet, all groups that you have to audition to get involved with. But in addition to those groups, we have a lot of other a cappella groups that you can get involved with as well.
Mhm.
Additionally, Sarah, the Department of Music also has a number of ensembles as well. So
Yeah.
just actually last month, there was a group of us that attended a free noontime concert, actually by students who were performing on musical instruments dating back to the 1800s and the 1700s that actually Berkeley has here on campus. So there's lots of opportunities in terms of getting involved in a musical ensemble, whether that's through the Department of Music, student musical activities, or through one of our many clubs and organizations.
Yeah, and you can audition for those because I think your specific question was in terms of signing up, the sign up dates. It depends on which one you're going to get involved with, and again, that might be looking it up online. But for the most part, a lot of them have auditions those first few weeks of class. So I would look. You can also look for them via the Calling page, looking at the different groups, and they each, for the most part, they each have their own website. That you can look it up. Additionally, I know I have some friends that are in gospel choir right now, and theirs is actually via a class that they're taking right now, and they have to audition in order to get into the class. But there's also that option for you also. So yeah.
So yeah, not everybody has specific sign-up dates. It depends on the organization, and that's why we ask you to start reaching out to them now. You can ask them now. A lot of them are selecting their new leadership for next year, so they may not have all of those dates just yet. But throughout the summer, continue to ask them questions, but definitely when you get on campus, either in the fall or if you're a spring admit, you can come. We will do welcome events, and we will do a whole other student organization tabling fair in the spring as well. So if you're a spring admit, don't fear. We will get you connected to those student organizations.
Yeah, and to speak a little bit on Elizabeth's question, these groups, there are definitely different skill levels. Like I know some of my friends actually got involved with one of the dance groups here on campus, which is AFX, and she had never done a dance group before. And she got in, and they have like a beginning group, an intermediate group, and an advanced group. And that kind of speaks true to all the different organizations here on campus for all the different types of performance groups. So don't be worried about that. Definitely, if you have a passion for it, like there's a space for you at those groups also.
Definitely. All levels. Another, what was the question?
Is there a place where you can see all the club sign-up dates?
Not yet. The best place I would encourage you to go to is our student organization database, and that again is callink.berkeley.edu, CALLINK.
Yeah, and that becomes a little difficult because, like we said, we have about 1,400 clubs on campus, and I think it would be just so much information, which is why we stress that you really should go check out Calapalooza and pick the brochures or get the information from the groups that you really are interested in or think you're interested in, because there are so many groups on campus, and unfortunately, you can't get involved in all of them, but definitely just check those out, and you'll be able to find the sign-up dates for those as well.
So another aspect of getting involved on campus is ASUC elections. And so on this campus, our student government is also an active part of our community. The student government here, there's an undergraduate student government and a graduate student government. The undergraduate student government has 25 elected positions. 20 of them are senators, 5 of them are executive positions. We just held ASUC elections a couple weeks ago. We just found out who our new elected officials will be for the 14-15 academic year. But I know a lot of you have probably had experience with student government.
At your own high schools or something.
Exactly.
Like that, yeah.
And so a lot of you probably wonder, well, how do I get involved with student government at Cal? And so one way you can do that is, first of all, visit their website, asuc.org. Learn a little bit more about the positions. As a first-year student, unfortunately, you can't apply to run for an elected position as a first-year student. You can in subsequent years. But the way to get involved with ASUC your first year is to become an intern. They hire hundreds of interns for all of the elected positions and for all of the different campaigns and areas of interest and issues that they're hoping to highlight that particular year. So I would highly recommend checking out asuc.org and looking at ways to get involved with their internship program their first year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
so Sarah, thanks for the compliments, and for the rest of you on board. If you do have specific questions, make sure you pose those to us, because we're really here to answer your specific questions that you have about coming to Berkeley and what the Berkeley experience will be for you.
Yes. So then we also have a lot of events that take place every year that our student communities and our student organizations like to host. One of them is Dance Marathon, which is combining a social activity with fundraising and awareness for a really great organization or cause. In this case, the Elizabeth Glaser Pediatric AIDS Foundation. Other really fun events that you'll notice on campus, things like
a bunch of different multicultural events.
The ASUC Perspective Showcase is highlighting different student organizations on campus and having them perform for all of the campus. Superb is our campus programming board on campus, and sorry, that was repetitive. They do a number of spring concerts, and they do a number of sneak previews, so they'll have campus viewings for different movies. Sometimes those sneak previews include the actual actors.
Yeah, my freshman or sophomore year, we had Ryan Gosling, which was really cool. Like he came in, and it was like really awesome because like he was such a cool person. I don't get to meet him personally, but like the experience of having to, he was so close, and having him there on stage, and so we actually had a bunch of different actors. I haven't been able to come to all of them.
Will Ferrell came. Johnny Depp was on campus. So sometimes we don't know about these folks coming to campus until the day before, the day of, which is really exciting. So they're called sneak peeks. We get to see some of those, and that's brought to you by Superb, which is a campus, a student organization on campus. Another great campus partner to get involved with is the UC Berkeley Public Service Center. So how many of you have been involved with service or some type of one-day community service or long-term service organizations? I imagine a lot of you, because that's why you might have been attracted to a place like Berkeley that has public service in its mission. And the Public Service Center takes that mission and runs with it. So if you're looking to get involved, I think I have some stuff here, if you want to hold those up. So the Public Service Center runs a number of week-long, semester-long, even year-long service opportunities, and those can look like alternative breaks. So if you want to participate in alternative breaks where you would go either on a break during our spring break, you would go either to New Orleans for the Magnolia Project to still repair and reconstruct the area as a result of Hurricane Katrina, or you could go to the Central Valley of California and work with migrant farm workers during your spring break. There's a lot of different ways to get involved. They run mentoring and literacy programs as well. So a lot of great ways to get involved with public service on campus. And then another fun and active community on campus is the fraternity and sorority community. And so this would be the Cal Greeks community. You can check them out at calgreeks.com. Amber's going to hold up the Greek Week poster. This is what's going on right now this week. But the Cal Greeks community is made up of 4 councils, and those 4 councils include the Panhellenic community, the Interfraternity Council community, NPHC, the National Panhellenic, the African American fraternities and sororities, and then the Multicultural Greek Council fraternities and sororities. They all have different ways of doing recruitment or intake, and that can take place throughout the year. For the Panhellenic sororities and IFC, that takes place in a traditional timeline at the beginning of the semesters. And for the other communities, you can find out how they do intake by going to calgreeks.com.
So with the fraternities and sororities, because some of you may not be wildly familiar with them, these are all male or all female organizations. They're typically centered around 4 values. So centered around service, scholarship, leadership, and brotherhood or sisterhood. Typically, it is a lifetime commitment. So you join an organization. You're actively involved with the organization for the period of time for your 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, even a year. So you can even join as a senior and get involved with them. But the idea is you're making a lifetime commitment to the organization and the values associated with them.
And there's also professional fraternities here on campus. There's some that are more focused. There's like some law, pre-law fraternities. There's one for international, for people that are interested in like international relations. There's a fraternity for that, and there's like a lot of pre-business ones also.
So one of the questions that we have is a concern about possible hazing at Berkeley. And unfortunately, hazing is a reality in collegiate communities, and it's not something that just happens within fraternities and sororities, but it also happens with athletics. You've seen some high-profile issues with marching bands in the news in the recent past. So unfortunately, hazing is a reality, but we also have a zero-tolerance policy when it comes to hazing. All of our student organizations on campus, as part of their recognition as a student group on campus, must include an anti-hazing clause within their constitution of the organization, and we have a zero tolerance policy for it. So we do educational workshops around ways to get students committed to your organization without going the hazing route, and we also follow up and take seriously any allegations of hazing on campus. And allegations of hazing could also result in a student organization getting their recognition rescinded, and then individual students would also have to go through student conduct proceedings. So we take those things very seriously, but there are other ways to get students committed to an organization without having to do hazing. So we've taken you through being an observer, and we've taken you through what it looks like to get actively participating with student organizations. I'd say on campus, it's hard to say how many organizations any one student gets involved with. And I'd say, if you had to venture a guess, Amber, between like, on average, how many do you think students get involved with when they first start on campus?
Oh, when they first start, maybe not through my personal experience, but for most of my friends, it's been like they'll get involved with like 5 to 10 groups, and that's just because they're trying to like look around.
They're
They're
shopping.
shopping, which is kind of going back to the observation side of it, like attending different meetings and such. But you really only get committed to 1 or 2 organizations in the end, and those are because that's really where you kind of find your community, and where you find like a group of where you really find that your interests are best spoken to. And this is definitely very personal, and it like will change from student to student, but just from my personal observations, and I guess now what I've been involved with.
So, and I'd say that's pretty common. I think at the beginning, when you're your first and second year, it's not uncommon to join 4, 5, 6 plus student organizations, because you're really trying them on. Is this a good fit? Do I really like this community? Can I see myself getting involved or taking on an officer position within this community? And as you move from participant to leader, and that's the next section that we're going to talk about, is leading within your organization. This is where we're going to ask you basically what Amber said, is going from, being involved with so many organizations and start trimming down to get down to what you really are most passionate about. And so that's when you're really involved with those 1, 2, maybe 3 at most student organizations or student communities on campus. Because at this point, now you've gained enough knowledge within the organization to have positive influence within that community. We don't believe that leadership means positionality. We don't believe you have to have a title or a position to be a leader on this campus. We believe it's a journey and a process that you can be a leader if you are acting on your values and creating positive social change within a community or an organization. So being a leader could mean a couple of these different ideas here. Things like mobilizing students for action. I'm sure you've probably heard that we have a lot of activism and protests on this campus, and that's a big part of who we are. You might choose to become a writer for the Daily Californian, or you might become a CALSO leader. So those of you who are going to participate in Cal Student Orientation this summer, you could be a participant this year, but in future years, you can apply to be an actual CALSO counselor, or maybe you want to become an RA, a resident assistant within the residence halls.
One of the things also that on that list is teaching a decal. So decal is something really, I think, unique about the Berkeley campus here, which is it stands for Democratic Classes, which essentially means that it's their student-run classes that you can teach here on campus, where you choose a subject matter that you're really passionate about, and you think other students will be passionate about also. I mean, one of the more popular ones that we have here on campus is like the Harry Potter class that people take.
There's a Game of Thrones one.
There's
too.
a Game of Thrones one.
Mhm.
There's been Insanity. I actually had the opportunity to teach a decal my sophomore year. I taught an international service decal and I brought in a bunch of different speakers from different nonprofit organizations that work internationally, and I also brought different departments on campus that offer that. And so it was a great experience for me being able to facilitate that class because it was something that I was really interested in.
So it's also good, even if you're not interested in leading the decal class, to actually sign up and take a decal class.
Yeah, and so one of the, I think, things there is that if you're not starting a new decal, you actually have to have participated in the decal in order to continue with it. So I actually took the international service decal my freshman year, and I later facilitated my sophomore year.
So another thing I wanted to mention in terms of one of the ideas was to write for the Daily Cal. Writing is a big deal on this campus, and a lot of folks choose to get involved with publications as well. We have a lot of publications. I would say, how many?
About 60.
About 60 different student publications, ranging from your blue and gold yearbook. You can write for them if you're really interested in yearbook. We also have other student organizations and publications, such as Hard Boiled, which is this kind of print edition. But then we also have really nice magazines that our students also put on here, which is really fun. We have some satire-based publications as well as some fashion ones. We have a lot based on academics and science reviews, etc. So a lot of different ways to get involved if you're interested in publications on campus.
And kind of to speak on that a little bit, there's also, I mean, that also kind of highlights the fact that you have that opportunity to get published here. And then even as an undergraduate, there's still that possibility. Actually, one of my friends got published the last year. So and I didn't even know about it. She's like, yeah, I didn't want to tell anybody, but it's actually really cool because she was able to work with a professor and they got published together. So even as an undergrad, you don't have to be a graduate student in order to kind of do that sort of work.
And again, that might be that other opportunity to connect with that professor in that classroom in terms of exploring the scholarly publication option and see if you can help them to do that.
Yeah. So another community that you might choose to get involved with is the multicultural community on campus. And this is one of the groups that I personally work with, and this is Bridges Multicultural Resource Center and the Recruitment and Retention Centers. This is a community of students who basically is looking at empowering the multicultural community on campus and getting underrepresented, low-income, first-generation students to higher education and to college. And if that happens to be Cal, even better. They host a really fun event called Senior Weekend for newly admitted underrepresented students to campus, amongst other things. And the other part, I am the advisor to our cultural and identity-based organizations on campus. And so we have, oh my God, we have such a diversity of student organizations and cultures on campus. And a lot of our community and our students put on culture shows. And so we have this really fun poster called the Calendar of Culture that highlights just some, not even all of them. Not all of them made it to this, but things such as the Iranian Students Cultural Organization hosting their culture show, the Pakistani Student Organization, the East Asian Union, the Armenian Student Association, the Horn of Africa Student Association, Vietnamese Student Association, Filipino students putting on Filipino Cultural Night, and the Thai students and the Cal Hawaii Club putting on their luau. So there are a lot of ways to get involved with cultural organizations as well in the multicultural community on campus, or just attend one of their shows.
Yeah. So we just had another question come up, and I'll read the question out loud and then I'll address it. So the question is, do you feel like you have a close mentor or student relationship with any of your professors? And the answer is yes. I will admit, probably my freshman year, that wasn't the case. I wouldn't say that it was necessarily someone that I felt super close with, but I do now. He's actually from the International Area Studies Department, which is where one of my majors is located, the political economy major. And I really do feel like I can go and talk to this professor about anything. Actually, because the first time I was actually really scared to go to office hours the first time I went because it's a little bit intimidating sometimes when it's just you and the professor. And I was worried. I was like, do I have the right question? Maybe I won't know what's like. I don't have like a right. There's not really a right question, but I was just really worried about it. And I went in, and we actually ended up talking about. We made a connection because we were both learning. Well, he learned French in his undergraduate career, and I was learning French in my undergraduate career, and I was about to go off and study abroad in France, and he had done that in his undergraduate career also, and so we kind of made that connection and kind of built off of that. And he's the person, my go-to person for recommendation letters now, and in anything like when I'm getting internships here, like he's one of the first people that I go and tell in terms of my successes, and he's really been helping me throughout my career here. So the answer to that question is yes, I do feel like I have a professor, and that I'm kind of a mentorship program. And also, I want to speak a little bit more on that because you will find a lot of different mentors here on this campus, and they don't necessarily have to be professors. I've been fortunate enough to be actually involved with the Lead Center here on campus, and like working with Marissa and Jeff. I've been working with them since I barely got here on this campus, and so I consider them some of like my mentors, and the close relationships that I've built with them have just been by working with them here on this campus, and that actually speaks true to a lot of the other departments that I've been involved with. It's not just your professors. You can find mentorship in any different sort of space, and even amongst your peers. You're studying with some of the brightest minds in this country, and some of the seniors that I met my freshman year, just coincidentally through the Lead Center, I still speak with today. And they're helping me now as I'm trying to transition into the real world and what that's going to look like. And so I just wanted to add that other side of it.
Awesome. So let's see. We talked about student government, and let's talk a little bit about leadership. The Lead Center is all about leadership, and not just within, like we mentioned, within the positions or titles, but the leadership we talk about is a philosophy, but it's also a number of resources that the Lead Center offers to you as an individual student, as well as within your student organizations and your student communities. So the Lead Center will offer things like workshops around how to get involved on campus, which is what we're doing now, how to hold peers accountable, ally workshops, etc. But then we will also offer things like a one-day leadership conference called Leadership Symposium. We also offer drop-in advising. So if you want to come in from 2 to 4 on any given day and ask a question about, well, how do I manage my organization? I don't know how to, get funding for my student organization. How do I put on an event on campus? Can you help me through? I have this idea of hosting an awareness week around this issue. How do I do that on this campus? We can walk you through all of that. And in addition to that, your peers, again, offer some really great leadership resources that I want to let Amber speak a little bit more about.
Yeah, so one of the ones that I have here in my hands actually an organization that I am also involved with, which is the Cal Facilitation Team here on campus. Essentially what we do is we provide different workshops that help other student organizations with their team dynamics, with leadership skills, team building, all these different things. And I'm actually going to be one of the coordinators continuing next semester. So we're recruiting in the fall. If any of you are interested in sort of like getting involved with that, it's actually really interesting to me because I had been involved in so many different leadership positions in high school, but getting involved with the Cal Facilitation Team has really gotten into more of like the leadership theory that goes into that, why we do what we do, and really helping other teams be successful in their own way. So I would highly suggest any of you that are interested in that to apply, and we are going to be recruiting in the fall.
Yeah. And if you're not interested in getting involved with them, but you can also, if you get involved with student orgs, you can also hire them to come facilitate workshops for you, and they're a great resource.
Yeah, and they are free for student organizations here on campus.
Awesome. So let's see, and then we just want to highlight one last thing, which is really fun. Don't forget that UC Berkeley is the home of the free speech movement. So protest and activism is a very active part of the student experience here. So one thing we don't have on this campus, I can say with certainty, is apathy. So our students are really involved, really passionate about things that they want to bring awareness to, issues that they want to create positive social change around. awareness, eradicating illnesses, etc. And so our students, you'll see, and you are probably those folks who will be the next generation of Cal students coming to campus and putting on those events, hosting those communities, and bringing awareness to those issues. So we're excited to help you do that with the expertise of your peers who have been there, done that, and can help you navigate everything that Cal has to offer, or whether it's folks like Jeff and myself who work in the Lead Center and would be happy to sit down with you and talk about your personal trajectory and your co-curricular experience and how your leadership experience and your co-curricular experience informs your academic experience here at Cal, because we do believe that those do come together. A lot of what being in a student organization about is learning how to be and work within a team and different personalities. And that is true whether you're in a family, whether you're in a student organization, or whether you're on a team or a small group within your major or in a class. And
so there's definitely that space for activism if it's something that you're passionate about. But also for those of you that aren't necessarily super interested in, you don't have to be involved in that side of it also. But it is something available for those of you that are.
So we just want to leave you with a little bit. So we've talked about observe, participate, and lead. And now we want to ask you, what is your story going to be? Where will you take it from here? What will you do and how will you get involved on campus? And so if you want to take a moment to reflect on that or even respond to us, we'd love to hear what it is that you're interested in getting involved with on campus. Tell us one or two things that you're going to do once you get here or even before you get here to start getting involved on campus. What is that commitment you're going to make and what's going to be your legacy here at Cal? And we can't wait to see it and to help you with it. So, Any other last burning questions? Feel free to shout them out to us.
Ask any questions that you have.
So one of the pieces, as you may be formulating another question to send to us, we're more than happy to actually connect and help with all of you even prior to you coming here if you'd want. So you can track each of us down. We'll go ahead and share our email addresses. We're pretty easy to find actually on berkeley.edu. Up in the right-hand corner, if you click on directory and type in our names, you can find us. Or if you go to lead.berkeley.edu, you can actually track us down as well. So I'm jeff.woods@berkeley.edu, so jeff.woods@berkeley.edu. So feel free to reach out to me.
Also, and I'm Marissa_Reynoso@berkeley.edu. If you go to the Lead Center website, lead.berkeley.edu, and click on the staff link, you will see all of the staff in our office, and you will see our contact information. So here I am. You can contact me through our website, and Jeff, if you scroll a little bit further down, you will also see Jeff's information on here. And if you email us, the general contact for the Lead Center, which is lead@berkeley.edu, you will get Amber and her peers who work as peer leadership consultants in our office, and they can also help with answer any questions that you have. So please don't hesitate to reach out. We love talking to prospective students, new students, newly admitted students.
And I don't mind sharing my contact information also with you all. So I can give you my personal Berkeley email if you have any burning questions that kind of come up later. I know maybe right now you're still kind of figuring things out. So my email address is Amber, AMBER, period. And then Michelle, MICHELLE, @berkeley.edu. So amber.michelle@berkeley.edu.
And please, please, please come and visit us once you get on campus, whether that's this summer for Kelso or when you get here in fall, or if you're a spring event, if you get here in January, please come visit us. We are temporarily in 102 Hearst Gym. It's our temporary space while the new Student Union building is being constructed right now. And so you all get to experience this brand new Student Union building, which you can learn more about at ASUC Student Union. Or Lower Sproul if you want to learn more about that. But that will be available to all of you once you get on campus. So thank you all, and don't hesitate to reach out, and go Bears.
Go Bears.
Bye.
Bye.